There can be things in our generational line that have an effect as a legal right to the enemy to block or hinder in family lines. The issue is going to the Father and asking the Father, or going to Jesus and asking Jesus to reveal what are those blockages and where did they come from, rather than digging to see if there's anything. Go and ask. And does he want you to deal with it and only do what you see the Father doing? So from a perspective, if there is an issue, there are various things you can obviously do about it as directed by the Father. One of them is to do a court case, a heavenly court case, where you go to the court. The court is convened. The Father is the judge. You call the accusers. Are there any accusers who are accusing me or my family line in this issue? Then you basically hear what the accusations are. And if it's a generational thing, it's like the legal right that the enemy has. The accuser in that situation would say, we have this right because this happened, or because your generations did this, or opened the door for this, or whatever it might be. And it could be something, if you're talking about financial blockage, it could be that there was dealings which were unrighteous in the past that opened the family. They may have stolen, or they may have defrauded. Something might have happened. Then what you do is you forgive and release those people who were responsible in the generational line, get the verdict from the Father, which is not guilty. Remember, the judge is going to find in your favor, and that verdict is passed, so that then you can stand with the verdict in opposition to anything that's coming against that verdict. So then they have no legal right. The legal right's removed, but you have to stand, and that legal right has to be removed from the thinking in your life. Now, will it affect every other person in that generation? It depends really on whether they have agreed with or engaged with that blockage or that mindset or that lie, or particularly it may even be in a financial situation, some financial wrongdoing in their own right. Well, then they have to deal with that, and they have to acknowledge, because they can't be in agreement with what was in the past. If it's a mindset of poverty, then that mindset needs to be replaced with a mindset of blessing. And the key is not to try and get rid of the old mindset, but to replace it with the new. What is the truth? The truth is God wants you to be blessed. The truth is that God blessed Adam and Eve and said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue and rule. So the blessing of Abraham has been released. So from that perspective, you can definitely deal with some of those issues as the Father gives you the direction. And when you get the verdict, live on the verdict. Use the verdict as the foundation of the truth that you live from, not the lies that you may have been living on before. So there can be things in the past in many people's lives that do have an effect in today. The keys are always forgiving those in the past, making sure you're not in agreement and alignment with anything that was done in the past. Receive a verdict that frees you from any legal right the enemy has to block you, and then stand on that truth and resist anything that the enemy tries to do. If the enemy keeps trying to do it, then you can go back to court with a contempt of court, because they're trying to go against the verdict of the judge. Now, they often, when you threaten accusers with that, they won't want to go before the judge, because the judge can, in a natural case, can do a contempt of court, and they can be locked up, indefinitely. And so there's a thing there for a process. I do all this teaching in the Engaging God program. I think it's in module 4, where it talks about the courts of heaven and various things. But definitely you can do something, but don't get caught up on focusing on the negative. Always go to the Father and say, Father, is there anything blocking me? Or Jesus, is there anything blocking me? Is there anything I'm believing or my family are believing which isn't the truth? Then that truth can be brought into play, and then you stand and live from the truth, which is the blessing of God and the favor of God, and God wants you to live with everything you need to fulfill all that you're called to do.